Thank you for your purchase. In this video, I will be showing you how I use the loom to make bracelets with the patterns. Here are the materials I used. So this is a loom that I will be using for making the bracelet, and it's pretty self-explanatory how to set it up. I think when you purchase a loom, it should come with instructions, but if it doesn't, you can just follow along on how I did it. To start off threading the loom, I tie a tight knot on the notch on the wooden dowel. When stringing the thread on the loom, always make sure you do one extra thread more than the amount of beads in the pattern. So most of my patterns are 9 bead patterns. So since you have 9 beads, you will thread the loom 10 times. You'll have 10 strings of thread. When threading the loom, you will loop around the notch at the wooden dowel, then move to the grooves on the metal part, making sure all your threads are lined to the parallel groove on the other side of the loom. On the first and last threads, so the first and the 10th threads, I go twice in the same groove just to have more stability on the ends. When I'm done with threading the loom, I tie the thread around the notch, or you could tape it just so it does not move and it's secure. As you can see, I accidentally put the thread in the same loop, so I'm just going to end up fixing that later on because that could cause problems. After threading, I realized my thread was a bit loose, so I just adjusted the tension by unscrewing the wooden dowel, moving the notch down a bit more, and then screwing it back. Okay, so to start actually making the bracelet, you start off by cutting a significant amount of thread needed. Since I will be threading the pattern from the left, I tie part of the thread to the left end of the 10 strings, leaving a tail on both sides. So one side is going to be your long tail that you're going to be using for beading, and the other side is going to be left for the end because you're going to need that to finish off your bracelet. Once you have threaded your needle, pick up 9 beads of the same color. For this first row, since I will be using a sliding clasp, this row will be hidden, so I'm not following the pattern. Once you have 9 beads, you can keep them on the needle or slide them all the way down the string, whichever is more comfortable for you. Then you will take the beads underneath the 10 threads and space them out in between, pushing them up. Each bead is going to go in one row. Make sure it's like that. This may take a while. If you keep the beads on the needle, I will just pull them through, making sure not to move the beads from position. Once that's done, you will take your needle and go through the beads from the right, making sure not to miss any and also not going through the threads. A good little tip to help with this is to slightly touch the top of the beads as you go through. For the second row, if you made the first row a hidden row, you will follow the pattern. Pick up the beads from left to right or right to left, whichever is comfortable for you. Just make sure you keep it consistent until the end of the project. So once again, you have picked up 9 beads. Go underneath the threads, spacing the beads out, pushing them up. Once in position, thread through the beads, making sure not to go through the threads and missing any beads. So you just continue the same process until you've made a few rows. You will start to realize spacing the beads will become easier as you get more rows. And to make it even more easier, you will tighten it a little bit by pulling the thread you're using, the thread with the needle. It will tighten it up a bit more. And yeah, just continue with the same thing until you reach the desired length of the bracelet. Okay, so to finish off the bracelet, you will take your leftover thread, but in the video I am showing the other side of the bracelet, so I'll start off by untying the loops I made at the beginning of the project and then threading my needle with that. At this point, it will be the same on both ends, so you can continue to follow along even if you're at the end of the project. To start off, I will thread under the first thread, over the next thread, and keep repeating till I reach the end of the 10th thread. So go over, under, no, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, until you reach the end of the 10 threads. Then I will go over the end thread and under the next thread until I reach the other side. So you're going left to right and then right to left. Repeat this 2 more times, keeping in mind how much spacing your clasp has to hide the strings. Next, I will tie the string threads together, so two each, so the end thread with the next one, until I reach the end. I will tie it twice just to make it tight. At the end, you will have 5 knots. You could stop here and cut the bracelet off the loom, slide on your clasp, and be done, but I'm extra, so I did more knots, and that's it. You have your bracelet.